So yeah, at it again. There's the throttle body. It has been taken out. I've already shared how to take the throttle body out for cleaning and all. So you can check that video. I'll post that in the link. Now, what I'm doing right now, and I did not record all of it earlier, but I thought I should start doing that. So I'm just trying to, you can call it porting, you can call it polishing, but I'll only be going like 1 mm. This has already been scraped in a lot, I mean about 1 mm. But what initiated this was, if you remember from the last video, there was some edge, as you can see here as well. It's still there, this all the way around. So I have done, I have scraped in about 1.5 mm on this side, and it seems that I would have to do another 1 mm just to make it work. It's just too much of a gap. And again, next part was this injector body. This was, as you would remember from the cleaning video, there were some casting marks. There were a lot of casting marks. So yeah, this needs to be finished. I smoothened some of it, and as you see, that gives a clean passage. This was again scraped up or ported for like say about 1 mm. I took measurements with the vernier caliper all the time of doing it, just to be sure that I was not scraping too much. Now let's see why we need to venture out into doing this, if you guys are interested. So here we have it. Now this is what the manifold would look like. So this is the intake side, and this is the throttle body, that blade that is actuated once we pull in the throttle like this. So yeah, well, poor drawing, but yeah, you get the idea. Now the point is, this is how it came out of factory, and there were some ridges just close to the throttle body. So once the air is going in, it is okay, it is okay, it is okay, but the air that is going here, that is getting some amount of turbulence. Now the idea is to make the air passage as smooth as possible. That would be something like this, so that the air is going in and there is no turbulence. Of course, the manufacturer take into account some amount of turbulence while mapping the ECU and everything, but that is the basic idea. Now, as I said, the only problem is at full throttle, it can get as much of air and as much of fuel, which is somewhere around here, through the injection, that can come in. So it is not automatically gonna make like if you port in say 2 mm or 3 mm, make it wider, and more air in means more fuel is gonna go in. Some, yes, at mid and low range it will make some difference because the air would be flowing in smoother, so that will be accounted for. But for full throttle there would be some problems. So that's the idea. We cannot go too enthusiastic about it and make it too big. But there are some differences, and I'll post some studies as well that have been made into it. So let's continue and let's get this done. So here I'm just using a marker sketch pen, basically just to mark how much I need to go, because this ridge again would have been a bit of an issue with the air smoothly going in. The idea is just to increase the velocity at which the air travels without turbulence, without any interferences, without being hindered by any kind of ridge. So that's the idea. And this is how much we need to scrape. So about 1 mm needs to be scraped on this side, and this would just be made a bit smoother. Of course, I'll be taking calculations with the vernier caliper at all time. So let's continue. So next step, we'll be removing all these sensors and as well as the idle screw. So if you can see, the idle screw is held with this so that it does not maybe vibrate out of place. So maybe, I don't know, but yeah, getting this screw out. Next we can take the idle screw out. So there we have it, the idle screw is out. Next would be taking out this map sensor. So that screw takes out this clamp. Now very carefully just remove it. There is a washer inside, as you see. Next would be taking the TPS sensor out, for which we need the torque screw driver. Sensor coming out. These are the tools that I'll be using. So a Dremel, some sanding bits, and yeah, some sanding drums as well. Now these go down in number. So I've already done some of it, as I said. Now I'll just be scraping it, just giving it a final finish. Now I don't have a polishing bit, so for that I'll just be using a very fine 400 grit sandpaper. It is lying somewhere, I'll get that. Now let's start. Now I'm not going to be capturing the entire bit of how to use Dremel and how to sand it, but the idea is that you go in circular motion like this. You can also go this, but that does leave some ridges. So if you keep going like this, it is gonna go simple, and I mean it's just like boring into it. You start from here, you continue going in, more in, and then you are done. But there is one tip that can come in handy at least, and that is use some WD-40. Where is it? Yeah, WD-40, and just wet it time and again so that it does not keep accumulating a lot of metal that is sprayed on it. Just tiny bit. And now let's begin. I'll just give you some example. Okay, so this is where we are right now, and you're all mucky. The basic idea at this point is just checking. The ridge was basically here at this point. This was also not very smooth, so this has been smoothened, but the ridge was very close to that plate. And I'm just trying to feel, and I can feel that, okay, this area has been cleared, but there is some ridge still left on this side. So at this point, again, we'll be putting some WD-40 on the, and as I said, it's from here to here. So at this point I can go a bit like in and out. So let me do that. Let me show you how. So again, just moving and feeling and checking that, okay, yeah, getting slightly smoother. So again, one more round. And much smoother, so it's gonna take a few more rounds, so let me do that. Okay, so this side pretty much looks fairly smooth. Can move to this side now and widen this by 1 mm, so let me do that. Again, here there are no ridges, so I'll just be going in circular motion. Now the both sides are done and they look smooth. All that is needed to do now is just to clean it and then move to the sanding drums. I don't feel any ridges here. It is all smooth all the way from there to there. So I can just start a bit of polishing now, just clear all these swirl marks. I'm pretty close to giving it finishing touches. And yeah, this is how the bit that you're sanding gets. And these are gonna wear out very soon, so be sure that you have plenty in stock before you start moving. Again, now the idea is just to go like this. There is no gonna be inside out, but just circular motions. And then from this, I'll be moving to a finer grit. So let's continue, just to give you an idea. This is where we are. Again, some swirl marks. Now we'll again be moving to the finer one. And this is actually the finest one that I have. You can maybe even see the difference. So this is the finest one. After this, I'll be moving to simple 400 grit sandpaper. So let's put this on. Just going like this. So let me finish this. So that did not take long, and there's still some left on it, this one. But now, as you can see, this is a lot smoother, and even the swirl marks have become a lot smoother now. And as well on the throttle body. Yeah, now so finally to this 400 grit sandpaper. It was pretty hard to find, but yeah, this is gonna be quite easy. Just steer some of it off and just go like this until it gives a proper smooth shiny. You get the idea. So let me continue and finish this. So here we are right now. As you can see, that's shining more than I would have wanted it to, and it's all smooth. Shining, it was not the idea, but while I was at it, I was like, what the hell, let's just make it all shine. Same goes here, again, all smooth, and same with the throttle body manifold. If you remember, these had bad casting marks. Everything has been smoother now. Now this is just gonna go and get washed. Well, I'll first primarily wash it with petrol only, because there are no rubber mounts or anything. I removed all these sensors any which ways. Now this is important. One thing that I forgot to mention earlier was just where this blade, this throttle plate is lying, just close to this. Don't try and scrape or do anything on this part where this throttle body rests. That's it. Let's clean it. So yeah, basically everything was cleaned with petrol, and finally just using this throttle body cleaner just in all the pores. That's the idea, just to make sure that no residue of metal scraping remains. So everything cleaned and dried. This is the final product. As you can see, looks a lot better. If you have opened your throttle body, you would know that the casting on the injector body was not that nice, and this is what the throttle body looks like. And this again has been scraped and brought down to the level of the manifold. Rest is pretty easy. I've already discussed that. This is gonna go back in, then our map sensors go back in as well, and so will our TPS sensor. I've just lubricated all the O-rings in the engine oil a bit. Yeah, I'll just tighten these screws. Let me get that done. So everything has been put back. I cleaned these with the electrical cleaner. Here we go. So everything has been put back together, as you can see. This assembly as well, the fuel injection one. Now this will be going in. I've already discussed that, how to put everything back, so I won't be recording it again, but you get the point. This is gonna go in first, then this mount, and on that this will go. So let me put all of this back. So yeah, this is the morning after. Everything is running fine. Sweet, stagnant, idle. Had to adjust it, bring it up. Now let's take it out for a ride and see. Engine has been warmed up. Whoa. Well, okay, there is some difference. Yeah, there is certainly some difference. I still don't recommend it. Do it on your own risk, to be very honest. There are some calculations required. Can't go overboard. I can maybe even almost lift off the front wheel. Seems like that. And that ABS job, as you see, the ABS light will always be on until I turn these on. So yeah, seems like fun. Okay, that was it. Thanks. Cheers.